Hey, what's going on? Tony Scott here on your Thursday from the studios of Smooth R&B 105.7, where I host a smooth ride home every afternoon from 2 to 7. And hot one in Dallas. The president is in Dallas. And, yeah, there's that. So let's get into it and look at some Tony's Tea, if you missed it earlier on Smooth R&B 105.7, and some other stories that kind of got my attention today. Bobby Brown's ready to fight, and he's ready to fight one person, and that one person is Kanye West. He is hotter than fish grease because Kanye West paid $85,000 for the rights to the picture that shows Whitney Houston's drug-filled bathroom. Kanye plans to put it as the cover art for Pusha T's album that Kanye is producing. Bobby says he needs someone to slap him up or something, and I'm just the person to do it. No, I don't think so. No, I'm not feeling that at all. I mean, I don't think Kanye West could be Bobby Brown, but I think Bobby Brown would probably, like, might need oxygen. He's not in shape to be fighting nobody. Come on, man. Speaking of Kanye, Snoop Dogg says that Kanye West needs a black woman or black women in his life. Snoop says black women would hold him accountable with all of his antics. He says a black auntie or a cousin will tell him in a minute to go somewhere and sit down. But how do we know he doesn't have that? How do we know he doesn't, like, call an aunt or a cousin and talk to them? I don't know if we know that or not. I don't know. Tiny is sad. Tiny from Escape, T.I.'s Tiny, is sad because of what happened with the Roseanne show. I mean, she's saying that people tweet a whole lot worse than what Roseanne did, but she's not giving her a pass. But she thinks that the problem is that the people who also lost their jobs because the show got canceled. Reportedly, my understanding, because I didn't, yesterday somebody asked me, how many people is that? And I said, I guess somewhere between 50 and 100, but I think it's closer to like 200 or more that work on a TV show. Really? Wow, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. But yeah, so there's that. The Michael Jackson estate is suing ABC and Disney. This is over ABC airing the Last Days of Michael Jackson special last week. Michael's estate says there were 30 violations of using songs and videos without permission. They allege they sent letters to the lawyers, but ABC's lawyers didn't respond. ABC says we didn't do anything wrong. It's a news show. We can do that. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. And yesterday here in Dallas, there was a guy whose car broke down on the Central Expressway, and people were like, you know what? That kind of looks like Fred Hammond. Turns out it was Fred Hammond.
One thing I don't care for when you're dealing with old vehicles is figuring out where the problem is. Sometimes it's real bad. Like when your junk cuts off in the middle of 635, 75.
He wasn't really happy about that. Totally get it. It's hot, car breaks down, but he has like a car restoration business, and I think he was driving one of the old vehicles from point A to point B when it broke down, but it's all good. So I don't know if you saw the story about a white woman. A white woman says that Southwest Airlines, she was going from Denver to Oakland, all right, and she had her biracial son with her who's about a year old, and Southwest says, you got to prove that's your son. She's like, what? What? Really? And she's never had to do that before. She had his passport, but because they have different last names, he has his father's name, her fiance. But she says, my guess is because I'm white and he's biracial. Southwest Airlines policy is to verify that lap children younger than 2 by reviewing a birth certificate or government-issued ID. So that's what happened. Here's the passport. Look at it. That should have been enough. And employees are not required to match the last names of a child and guardian on domestic flights, on flights inside the country. But apparently this Southwest Airlines employee, she said it was like a law, and it's not a law. So she was wrong on that take, so there's that. But whatever you guys want to comment on, something that I talked about here, something that I didn't talk about, it's all up to you. It's the beauty of what we do here. So how's it going, everybody? Michelle and Yvonne and let's see, Kiki and Yolanda and Brenda and Yvonne. And, don't forget, when you do comment about a certain story, make sure you reference the story or something, because otherwise I won't know what you're talking about. So, like Yvonne says, yeah, Bobby Brown, he can't fight. I never thought of Bobby as a fighter. When I think fighter, on any level at all, I don't think Bobby Brown, that's not shade. I mean, people don't think of me as a fighter or a lover for that matter. So I'm just saying. Norwalk, Connecticut is in the house. Samuel Pride is in here. How you doing, Samuel? Maybe, you know what, Brenda? Maybe he doesn't care, Kanye, but he needs to be careful what he says. We all need to be careful what we say. But, yeah, that's, you know, I don't know. I think the whole thing about the slavery was a choice and all those comments that he made leading up to that was all in preparation for the new music. I think all of it was a hype machine. I don't think that any of it was for real. And I think that we fall guilty of that. We as a people, generally speaking, that we fall into that trap every time. And then we're ready, you know, to drag them to hell. And then their music comes out and it's a banger and all is forgiven. We're just like, and they know that we're going to do that. It's almost like when I tell you that politicians don't care about us, man. They come to your churches and speak every 4 years. But between elections, they ain't got time for us, man. They don't even want to be seen in our neighborhoods. Same thing. They only come for you when they need you. You know, that's just the truth. So there you go. Let's see. Who else we got here? Penny, your words. We do. We need more civility is what we know or what we need. So that's the deal on that. Brenda says, I know how Fred feels when your car cut out in the middle of the street. He was in the middle of the highway, but yeah. You don't think Bobby's a lover? I think his wife would debate you on that. I think his wife would say, wait a minute now. Bobby can still put that down. He just ain't a fighter. Michelle says she's sad to see Kanye comment on anything. He needs to sit down and raise his kids. Well, like I said, I really believe it's all hype. It's all hype, you know. And because black folks are the most forgiving people in the history of the world, it gets exploited that way. So I don't know, Donna, if Kanye's music is even out yet. There was an album listening party, I think, tonight in Wyoming where he recorded it, or maybe over the weekend or something like that. But I don't know if the album is actually out yet. I know there might be a single out. A single might have got released or something like that, but I don't know. I don't really follow that too much. So Mississippi's in the house. Jennifer, how you doing? Elaine says, I wish my grandson's biracial. I wish someone would stop and say, I got to prove that he's mine. Well, they may have to, well, you're the grandmother, so they may go a step further with you since you're not the parent. I don't imagine that would ever happen again. I don't know. But then on the other hand, you know, if the child would have been, if the mother would have been some crazy ass woman and she was kidnapping the child, and Southwest Airlines didn't say anything, they'd be getting dragged for not being more careful with who they screen. So it's really a no-win situation. I mean, it really is. I mean, you think you see something, you're supposed to say something, right? You see something, you say something. That didn't look right to her. You know, so you got to speak up, I guess. And Homeda, how you doing? Everything good? Yes. So I mean, I don't know. When my oldest daughter was a baby, she went to the hospital. I forgot for what. It's been so long. And my ex-wife, they asked her, who was this child to you? Who was she to you? And they had the same last name. But that was a hospital. So my daughter didn't look anything like her mother. But still, you can't, you know. And that's another thing. Say, well, boy, that's his child, you know. Or that's not his child. I don't even look like him. Not every child looks like every parent. You know. Let's see. Kanye Sapphire says, should have known it was offensive to design Pusha T's album to look like Whitney Houston's death scene. Well, I don't know about that. I do know that the drug-filled bathroom picture it wasn't from the day she died, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was from when she was having, because I remember seeing that picture way before she died. If it's the same picture, and I think it is the same picture, so I don't think it's from the death scene, because I don't imagine anybody would put that up for, because I don't think the family has. I don't know if they have. They don't give the family copies of pictures from the death scene, do they? I would hope not, but I don't know. You know, and Linda, yeah. Linda, your children are biracial too, you know. So I mean, it's like, what are you gonna do? You don't do something, something happens. You get blamed for not doing anything, right? You do something and nothing happens. You get blamed for doing something. So, like I said, it's a no-win situation. But I think it's more of better safe than sorry. You know, it's like, you know, well, I'll be at an airport getting ready to take a flight, and they single me out and say, hey, you guys, we're going to have to go through your bags in, and we need to search you. We have to give you a pat down and everything. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. All right. That's the price. That's the price of doing business these days because of the world we live in. I get that. It doesn't bother me, but I get it. You know, he's trying to keep me safe. I'm going to be mad at somebody for trying to keep me safe. I mean, you know, and the lady, the mother of the biracial son, you're going to be mad because she was trying to look out for the safety of your son. Well, okay. But, you know, I think, and could it be deeper than that? It might be. You think if Kanye had a black woman, she would tell him to take a seat? I mean, anybody could tell somebody to take a seat, but will he do it? That's the thing. Will he do it? You know, that's the thing. It's like, there's some people, don't matter who it is, you can't tell them anything. You can't. We've always got those people in our family. You know, I had a cousin like that. You know, you couldn't tell him anything. He knew it all, and he was like a teenager. And you know, it's like, what are you gonna do? You know, some people people have to figure things out on their own. Some people are like that. Some people have to go through the process. You have a fire, you say, yo man, you put your hand in that fire, it's gonna burn, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna stink a little bit. Most people will say, you know what, I'm not even going nowhere near that fire. But there's always that one person who will stick their hand in that fire. It will burn, it will stink, it will hurt. But they had to find out on their own. There's just some people are like that. So, it's one of those things where you have to actually, I don't know. Every situation's different, right? Some people could benefit. There's people who are not even black who could benefit from a black auntie or a black cousin and the wisdom of a female. You know what I'm saying? Of a black female. The world could benefit from the wisdom of a black female. But you know what? Not everybody's afforded that privilege of having a black female in the family to advise them or close to them. You know, it's just the way it is. So there's that. So, I don't understand why the Kenya Moore thing. How are you going to be on a reality show where they talk about your lives? They expose your lives. That's part of the show, but you don't want to talk about your married life and you expect to be able to stay on the show. There has to be another reason because she doesn't strike me as someone who doesn't get that. But I don't know her. So I'll just say that. I do not know her. And the Michael Jackson, the last days of Michael Jackson last week, did you guys watch that? Because I didn't watch it because I didn't think there was anything I was going to learn from it. I mean, you know, was there anything new that we didn't know that we found out? I don't know if that was the case or not. Like I said, I didn't watch it. But if you watched it, what was it? Was there anything new? Was it good? Was it not good? Was it a waste of, was it an hour, 2 hours? I don't even know how long it was on. So I don't know. There's a fine line, Roberta, between learning things firsthand and just being hard-headed. I think there's a fine line. I think females get the experience thing faster than we do. We tend to stay hard-heads for a little bit longer than women do in a lot of cases. Not in every case, you know. Michelle, you didn't watch the Michael Jackson thing either? Okay, well, I thought maybe somebody did because, you know, it was on. And they're Michael Jackson fans. But on Thursday night, well, Maria was graduating from high school, so obviously I wasn't there. And I really didn't watch it, you know, on the internet afterwards or on demand or anything because I didn't think there was anything new that I was going to find out. So, Yvonne, have a blessed night. Thank you so much. Debbie Jackson with the good afternoons. And Vanessa, hey, Vanessa, hey. You think Kenya Moore wants to be Nene? I don't, you know, I've never watched an episode of that show, so I don't know. Just what I read, I think she's not gonna be she might be a semi-regular, but Chrisette Michele got her spot because Chrisette Michelle's getting married in Atlanta, so she's become a regular on the show. So we'll see how that goes. So there's that. So, but no, like I said, I don't watch the show, so there's that. So, all right. So does a celebrity have a responsibility to the crew of the show that they work on? I guess if you're the star of the show, you do have a responsibility to do whatever it takes to keep people, employed, because it's your name on the show and they've come to work for you. No? I mean, am I explaining this right? I don't know. I don't know. Kenya Moore was a Miss USA. Yes, yes. Let's see what Penny's got here. It's ridiculous that we have to continue to identify ourselves. Many years ago, there was a lady who said, my son could not be mine, or he must be a white man. Then she said, but you have nice hair, though. Yeah, well, you know what? But it works both ways, My mother worked at a nursing home for many years, and one of her coworkers one time, she saw my mother and my father out socially, and then when Monday came around, and this was a black woman, her name was Jewel, and she told my mother, I didn't know you were married to a white man. And my mother was like, I didn't know I was married to a white man either. So there's that, there's that. So, Donna says she did watch the Michael Jackson special. It was interesting, but nothing new. Just gave you something to reflect on, the preciousness of life and the reality that money can ruin your life. Yeah. You know what? I think some people say Joe Jackson ruined Michael Jackson. I think you can make a case either way, Michelle says, as far as my question about if you're the star of the show, I think if you are the reason there is a show, you need to toe the line. There's a bigger, to me, like in Roseanne's case, okay, you're the only one on the show making $500,000 an episode. Okay, so clearly you're the leader. You're one of the creators of the show. You're the star of the show. The show's got your name on it. So you do have a responsibility, but on the other hand, does she not have the right to express herself? She does. But on the other hand, there are also consequences to expressing yourself. So, there's it just more hands. It's hand on this hand, but on this hand, it just kind of goes on forever and stuff like that. So there's that. Erica, how you doing? Brenda says she didn't see anything different about the Michael Jackson special that we had not seen before. What was the purpose of, what was the reason? Was there an anniversary or something that we missed or something? Because his birthday is later in the summer, isn't it? Something like that. Was it his death anniversary, or they just needed to fill in a couple hours or something? What was going on with that? You think Donna says, I think stardom ruined Michael. Imagine having no freedom outside of your home. But the thing that, yeah, and that's so true, Donna. But the interesting thing is, there's stardom, and then there's superstardom, and then there was that Michael Jackson stardom, right? Where he literally really couldn't go anywhere. He was just that big. I don't even think Beyonce is that big, and it's not her fault. I think Beyonce is not that big. See, when Michael Jackson was at the peak of his career, we didn't have social media and Instagram and the internet and all that where we could follow him. We couldn't follow him. We had to take what we could get, and that makes us more thirsty for information and pictures and videos of our favorite artist. See, now you just go and just search Michael Jackson, you get millions of pictures, right? Now, and that's why I think you can't compare Beyonce and Michael Jackson, because it was two different eras. It was two completely different eras. I think they're both talented. As far as which one is one more talented than the other, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. But I know that they're both very, very talented, but it's a different time now. We're not as thirsty for Beyonce information because it's at our fingertips. But if Michael Jackson, remember when the black and white video was going to premiere after some TV show and everybody gathered around the TV? That was like must-watch TV. Now they release it on the internet before they release the video on TV. That's just how it is now, right? So I think, and yeah. And going back to Roseanne, your name is on the show. You're the one making all the money. And there won't be people talk about, can they do a spinoff without Roseanne, about maybe centered around John Goodman's character, her husband Dan. And the answer probably is no, because Roseanne would have to sign off on it because she is part owner of the whole thing. She's part owner of the whole thing. So there's that, And Michael Jackson, you're right, he was above the superstardom level. It was I guess from our perspective, Donna, it might have been a fantasy, But for him, it might have been more of a nightmare when you literally can't go anywhere, without 2, 3 huge guys around to protect you, right? Remember how he used to cover up his kids' faces and all that so they couldn't be identified and stuff like that? You have to live your life like that? Man, something sad about that. And yeah, Roberta, it's a different day and a different time. It is. And it's like, you compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James. I don't know if you can do that with 2 different eras, right? 2 different eras, So, and then, they both could carry a team, but I heard more about Michael's supporting cast that I've heard about LeBron's, but, I don't really follow basketball that much, but, everybody knew Scottie Pippen was Michael's teammate, right? Everybody knew that. Everybody knew Dennis Rodman was a hell of a player at his position and all that, but I don't know. Yeah, Donald remembers the anticipation of watching the Jackson 5 on the Ed Sullivan Show. See, that was before my time, but I mean, yeah, I can imagine. No, it wasn't before my time. I remember that too. I do remember that. Yeah, it was like a thing. It was a thing. TV events that featured people of color were like huge events for people of color because they never got seen on TV. Now it's not really that big a deal, but then it is because there should be more representation. But back then we were so starved for people who looked like you and I that we would we would stay home to watch the Michael Jackson black and white video that was only going to be on for like 10 minutes. Right? Wasn't the original version when Wesley Snipes and all that? It was like longer than the song, was it? Oh no, maybe I'm thinking about Bad with Wesley Snipes. Remember that? It was like, wow. It was like, wow, I got to see this, right? And everybody was talking about it the next day because we didn't get that kind of content as easily as we get it now. So, celebrities, celebrities now have a lot of critics, right? We don't understand that, we forgot that words can hurt. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt. But yes, they can. Yes, they can. Names have always been able to hurt. If they're packaged right and said right by the right people, it can hurt like hell, But it's where we are now, right? Brigitte Nielsen is 54 and having her 5th child. And people are calling her selfish for having a child at 54. Why can't you be happy for someone? Is she too old to have a child? You know what? That's her. That's on her. That's on her. Let's just be happy for her. Congratulations, Brigitte. I'm happy for you. If you like it, I love it. Even though, society says that you're way too old to be having babies, but you know what? You go, girl. You do you. You do you. What's for you is for you. That's kind of like how I look at it. I don't trip off of stuff like that. That's not for me to, but the internet and social media have made people very brave because they feel like they can say and do anything. It's just one of those things. Penny says life is so precious. There was no one in Michael Jackson's life who just said to him, no. A lot of vulture. And see, you know what, Penny? I thought the same thing, but somebody told me one time, how do you know that? You can tell somebody no, but if they're going to do it anyway, right? Right? Those of us who have adult children, yeah, you know what? I did that 20 years ago, baby. I wouldn't do that if I were you. And what do they do? Yeah, go put their hand in that fire. I got to find out if it burns, man. You know what I'm saying? There are people, there's just people you can tell them no. But are they going to listen? That's the thing, that's the thing. And, Penny, because I used to think just like you did right there. And then someone told me, that it's nothing's what you think it is. Like I said, the Kanye thing, those comments, hype machine. We fall for it every time. The whole Drake Pusha T thing that's going on, I think that's hype. I think that's hype. Does Drake have a child? I don't know. Don't really care, actually. Don't really care. It's not my problem. That's not, that's his deal. That's his deal. Do you like his music? Has he broken any laws? Has he taken liberties with young girls that he shouldn't be doing? No, that we know of. I'm just saying. But you know what? I don't follow him that closely, but you know what? If he's got a child he never talked about before, well, okay, fine. That's not our business. But social media and the internet has made celebrities, every aspect of their life, everybody's business. And I think that you could say, well, that's the price for being a celebrity. It is. Are they entitled to privacy? You know what? You can't pick when you want something to be private. Not in this world of social media and the internet. You can't pick that moment anymore. That's just out of your hands. It really is. Michael was different, eccentric, but never seemed reckless. He was just in his own isolated world. Well, you know what? Eccentric is being weird. When you have money, you're eccentric. When you're broke like me and you, we're weird. It's essentially the same thing, though. I mean, it really is. Some of us are quirky, right? Quirky. It's just one of those things. But yeah, you know, it's everything is different for everybody. That's what makes us unique, right? You're different than I am. I'm different than you are, right? I got a great friend of mine who's getting ready to have a baby, and he's past 50. But you know what? He doesn't look like he's past 50. He's in great shape. He's very youthful, and he's very excited, right? And has 2 daughters in college, and he's excited. I'm excited for him. Could I have done that? Probably not. probably not going to have a kid at my age, you know what I'm saying? But he wants to do that. That's his business. The only thing I can be is happy for him. That's the only thing I can be. I can't be, if I can't be that for him, then I don't need to be in his life. I don't need to be his friend if I can't be happy for the fact that he's at middle age, he's having another child. That's just the truth. I love this man, and I think, you know, he's accomplished some incredible things in life. And this is his path. What's for him is for him. Right? Yeah. And Brenda, you know what? Your kids will say that. Yeah, it's a different day and a different time. Yeah, but it's still a fire. That's still a fire, and it's still hot, and it still will burn you. There are some things that do stand the test of time, and that's doing stuff that's really stupid. That's, you know, you get prosecuted. You can go to jail for that like you could 20 years ago. Has it changed some? Yeah, probably, but it's still illegal. But people, you know, I work with people, helping them consult with podcasts and all that, and they want to do like a music show. And it's like, you don't own the music. So you can't use the music without permission. Well, so-and-so does it. Well, so-and-so hasn't been caught yet, but they'll get caught, you know. And depending on which way the wind blows, they'll either tell you quit doing it, or they'll send you a bill for royalty, check you need to write them. They're going to sue you. So it's just, you know, you want to roll the dice on that? For real? Because you want to do a music show? Come on, man. You can't. You just can't do that. So there's that. But let me wrap up here and get ready to get into my Thursday evening. And yeah. So I just saw this app because Maria's getting a new MacBook, and there's this app called Silence with a Z. And what it does is, like, you know how these kids, they have their headphones on listening to music. She'll have it plugged into a laptop, and apparently when you need to say something to this person, the app will detect that, and the app will either mute or lower the volume so they can hear what you're saying. It's like $5. Is that worth $5? To me, yes. But that's just me. I'm just saying. So anyway, look, Lynn Hayes, who comes on before me, had a great Facebook Live earlier today about intimacy. She had an entomologist, an intimacy expert, and they were talking about things to keep it spicy and stuff like that. It was a good Facebook Live. If you want to scroll down, you'll probably see it and stuff. And it's also on our website, krb.com. And check that out if you want to. It didn't get nasty. You just, I think the most, if you're going to put a rating on it, I'd say like PG-13. That's about it. You know, there was no cussing or anything like that. So, all right, if you want to check that out. But the rest of you guys, have a great night. Have a great night. Don't forget Saturday. If you live in Dallas, Saturday the high temperature is going to be 425 degrees. So you need to know that we're going to bake like pizzas if you spend too much time outside. So don't do that. Stay hydrated. Check on your pets and the old people. Old people live in the brick houses. They don't know they're actually in an oven, and they don't want to leave. Well, sometimes, you just got to like pick them up and take them outside and put them in the car. So everybody take care and talk to you soon.